My name is Ben Keeling, and I am soon to be the author of My School Improvement Doodle Book. The sole purpose for the illustrations was a personal approach to becoming slightly more knowledgeable or engaged with educational matters and to keep myself up to date, having recently moved abroad. I was drawing, posting these illustrations for some time, and they were becoming slightly more formatted and slightly more formulaic with the identity of the illustrations themselves. But they were actually picked up by Ian Gilbert online because I was posting the illustrations themselves on Twitter. The feedback's been positive and favourable. I was particularly pleased to meet Ian this morning. And he's been really supportive throughout the whole process. I didn't need much persuasion because I'm fairly ambitious, but also because I'm interested in creative means and always have been. I used to design for a living, and I gave up design for teaching, and so it seems a fairly natural combination of the two things. So it was a fairly easy answer to give. I was pretty open to making the book, and it seemed to flow relatively naturally after that, so I didn't have to have my arm twisted too much. The main aim of the book is to push people into action. So the readers are inspired or irritated into doing something about it. So I think there's every chance that if the book does well, there will be something similar, but who knows, something different on the horizon.
Okay, so hopefully we can now get across to Jakarta. Ben, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, hiya.
Hello.
Hi, Ben.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can we hear him?
Yes!
Good, okay. Shall we? I'm the bloke from Jakarta that was just distracting Vic a minute ago. I'm sorry I can't be there tonight, but I'm a long way away. I just wanted to borrow a couple of your minutes this evening to think about one of the greatest developments of the human age. And it's not the sequin, it is in fact the wheel. Now, the origin of the invention of the wheel is quite a hotly contested topic of debate among historians and unicyclists alike. The earliest evidence of four-wheeled vehicles arose within a landmass that now approximately corresponds to that of Iraq, but it was known then as Mesopotamia, and it's since been referred to as the cradle of civilization in the West, and it's remembered very fondly as developed and socially complex. Very simple in the design, as I'm sure you're familiar with. The early wheel, as we would probably recognise them today, essentially aided the movement of quite simple carts and vehicles. They were made at the time of solid wooden discs and contained a central hole to house what we now refer to as an axle. And from these humble beginnings, the wheel has come on a long way. It's come on leaps and bounds, or rolls and rolls. But from material of construction to the application and adaptation of its purpose, the wheel's been redefined and redesigned countless times, and to extremely positive effect. We're often told in education not to reinvent the wheel, not to challenge the established, not to explore alternatives to routines acquired, accumulated and cherished by the established crowd. A historical event, if you like, a historical exhibit of how schools were, are and always should be. That's a view I would have to politely disagree with. Many schools an established set of routines shaped as much by circumstance as intelligence. The ongoing consideration and dissection and exploration of everything we do is the only way to truly embrace creativity, individualisation and effectiveness. Thinking deeply about our practice and I urge you to interpret that term as broadly as possible, is not only required if we're able to move our education system forward, but it's our responsibility, certainly for all of those of us who believe in the ingenuity of others. My book should help you in that process, to think, to consider, to challenge, to examine and explore your own views, and to ascertain as to whether your practice matches up, to urge you to take affirmative steps forward. You can find out more on Twitter at Ben_Keeling, or heading to www.edu/sketches.com. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a really lovely evening, and if you're ever in Jakarta, feel free to look me up.